when I attacked Michelle, I wouldn't really call it an attack. Went up to her while she was walking down the sidewalk, and I said, you're going to have to learn this lesson. And I just held her by the shoulder, and I popped her in the head twice. And, you know, she moved her head the wrong way, and I snapped her nose. And she fell down, and I just walked away. She said I struck her about 20 times, but she was unconscious before she hit the ground. Well, the practice, she got me put in prison. She knows that the bullshit she pulled, the only way to keep from sending her front teeth flying out her asshole is to have me behind this glass. Because she's a bitch, and she deserved to have the shit knocked out of her, but you know, what the hell.
And when you think about that incident, how does it make you feel?
Makes me feel like I should have killed her. She's such a pain in the ass. Do I think I was a good father to liberty and faith? Yes, I mean, you know, I tried to be. Oh, gosh. My fondest memory of my daughters, well, I have another daughter. She's 30 now, Christy.
All right, two.
When we used to all get together and go somewhere, it was a kind of a little bit of a three-ring circus, if you can imagine. Three highly energetic, fun little girls just having a great time. Oh, how did Faith and Liberty die? They said they died of gunshot wounds.
So there's nothing about that you remember?
Not particularly, no.
I think it was the police called us and said that they had found him. But he had gone and picked up a girlfriend right after that, and then went next door to a tattoo parlor and had 2 roses in barbed wire tattooed on his arm for Faith and Liberty.
Yeah, the night that I was arrested, I had the roses.
And do they have any significance?
Yeah, I love roses.
I took him to the hospital on a number of different occasions. Recall one occasion I beat him up very bad. And I took him to the hospital and they asked me what happened, and I told them that he fell down a flight of stairs and my wife was with me. And we didn't have no stairs in the house. My wife stood there and looked at me like, you know, are you crazy? My son said, we don't have stairs. And the nurse told my son to be quiet, that she's not talking to him, she's talking to me. And she asked me to just go ahead and continue relaying, giving her the information. And I continued to tell her that he had fallen down a flight of stairs at home, bumped into the wall, and hit the rail. She asked how many stairs it was. I told her it was about 10 or 12 stairs that he had fallen down. And that's how he got himself hurt and bruised up. And she said, okay, and that's the way the hospital report went. It was reported only to my wife 6 or 7, well, I take it back, it was reported to my wife and my parents probably 6 or 7 different times. And there was actually one instance where I went to the police station myself to turn myself in. And the officer at the desk told me to go home and sleep off my drunk. And I left. If it wasn't for the fact that my landlord had found some pornographic pictures of my son in the attic of the home where we were living, I would probably still be molesting.
Why wasn't your son believed?
I made up stories about him, and there was a lot of belief that the adults were to be believed and stepchildren weren't, that this was a problem with him and I not getting along. And that's a lot of the reason that people didn't believe what was happening, didn't believe him. I think general society is easy to fool. Extremely easy to fool. And I say that because of how long I have fooled society and how long I've fooled people. I've been fooling people for well over 25 years. And people have believed what I told them.
In this period of time, when you said you were a molesting monster at home, what were you like in terms of control, controlling people and in terms of violence? What was really going on in your house that people didn't know about?
What people didn't know about going on in my home was a lot of extreme violence. Beating my son up, beating my wife up. If my wife wouldn't have sex with me when I wanted it, where I want, or how I wanted it, I would beat her up and then rape her after I'd beat her. I had beaten my son into unconsciousness a number of times. And then I would keep him, sometimes kept locked up in the house until his bruises healed up. Keep him away from school, keeping him away from his friends. Nobody around me knew what I was doing. Nobody around my community knew that I was such a violent individual in the home. If they did, they never said anything. But I don't believe they ever knew, because I was completely and totally different outside of the house.
No place was off limits. No time was off limits. And no set of circumstances was off limits. At any time that I saw an opportunity to get what I wanted, which was to rape or molest, I took advantage of that. There were times that I raped in a car with the parents in the front seat, me in the back seat with the children. The child would feel such a bond of trust that the child would decide, okay, I'd like to go to sleep. I'd manipulate the child and lay him across the seat and molest the child with my hand on his penis, by forcing my hand on his penis while the parents were in the front seat. There were other times that I molested and raped while at work, where I simply manipulated the child into coming into my office, and I just very simply locked the door and proceeded to do what I wanted to do, which was to rape the child. My nephew, I raped him for a period of 9 years. Raped and molested him for a period of over 9 years. And very few cases did I rape him in which no one was in the house. I have 11 male rape victims. I have one female rape victim. And I have approximately 1,250 male molest victims.
Which one of the interviews did you find the most disturbing and why? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you think this video is interesting, leave a like, and you can also subscribe to my channel for more similar content like this.